Before we get into this video, let me make something abundantly clear. Also, this is just as much my opinion as the rest of this review. Slut shaming is overrated. Strags make the world go round. Sluts make the world go round. Hoes, thoughts, floozies, skeezers, whatever the hell you want to call them, make the world go round. You think I'm playing? I am a firm believer that men who hate on hoes are salty because they don't have one. And women who hate on hoes just salty because they can't pick up the technique. Sorry. All these terms used to define a hoe are genderless in my mind. Shouldn't even hold a negative connotation. Everybody got a little bit of hoe in them. Just tucked away on a Sunday afternoon when you could have been praising Jesus. Well, the reason I say this and get it out the way now is because the anime I'll be reviewing follows the activities and adventures of one girl who, throughout the course of the anime, partakes in some particularly thoughtish behavior. That is okay. In order for me to aptly illustrate just how much the plot revolves around how straggish this one girl is, you may hear me throw around the word hoe one time. You may hear me throw around the word hoe several times. Whatever you do, don't bite my head off about it. Yes, JWs and Tumblr feminists, I'm looking at y'all. We got that out the way now? Good. All right. Whew. A minute in, just had to make sure I clear the air there. This is Lil Kydd, also known as Trickmasterization, and we're gonna review some anime, okay? Gata H Kei. English title, Yamada's First Time. Licensed by Funimation. Started off as a slice-of-life-y 4-koma seinen manga. Kinda like Azumanga Daioh. You know how much I adore the slice-of-life genre. Oh, yes. Also, here's something cool. I got facts for that ass. Seinen manga. Manga aimed at a demographic of mainly post-adolescent youth. We talking ages like 18 to 30. Uses kanji symbols that anyone around that age bracket could pretty much just pick up and read. Typically deals with some more adult themes, you know, like politics or relationships or things like that. Sports, shit. Think of like the R rating on a film, but in manga form. Things are bound to have sexual undertones, and that goes double if it's like an ecchi themed sort of a seinen manga. Ecchi is how the Japanese pronounce the English letter H. H is the first letter in hentai. Hentai in Japanese means perverted, weird, and strange. Know thine etymologies, my nigga, and it shall set thee afloat and keep ye as such. If that brief crash course in manga for the lazy nigga at home on his laptop didn't already make this apparent, this shit ain't for kids. So if you 4, 5, 6, and 7 watching this video, you better click back to your tobuscus before I make you get in the backyard, grab a switch, tenderize that ass. So ladies who are listening to this right now, quick show of hands. Anybody when they turn 15 and make it to their freshman year of high school ever wanna, I don't know, fuck 100 dudes? Anyone? Anyone? Enter main character Yamada. Apparently her first name not important. AKA Miss Steal Yo Nigga. AKA Stragzilla. AKA have him buy me a mink meat out of chinchilla. A true advocate of hashtag waste his time in 2016. Is a newly made high school student who came in from being the most popular girl in middle school with the mission to screw 100 guys. That'd sure make for a hell of a full calendar if it weren't for one small hair in the figurative soup. Yamada's a virgin, and she's so nervous about her first time that she reaches the conclusion that the only way that she can truly have a first time is with somebody else who is also a virgin. At the local bookstore with her friend, bumps into this one nigga named Kosuda. First name also not important there either. This series must not like first names. Anyway, this nigga Kosuda is really normal looking, right? Like solid 5 or 6 out of 10. Yamada figures out he's a virgin through rather basic means and decides she gonna ride out this nigga for the one time so she can get to the other 99. Easy fucking peasy, right? I don't catch feelings, I catch flights. The entire plot becomes this one big saga to see if these two will ever bone. And on the surface it seems real straightforward until you realize that Yamada is real bad at being a hoe. Give me a minute. It's ironic. Yamada throughout this series is like a sex enthusiast, a sex fanatic. It gets even raunchier in the manga. Yet every time she's right on the doorstep and ready to do the deed, ready to bump the uglies, just get to the quintessential root of this coitus, this sacred nookie. Her nerves get to her and she backpedals at the last minute, which leads me into one of the many reasons why I think this show is the bee's knees. See, almost every episode, Yamada has a plot to get Kosuda's shroom. Yet due to weird circumstances, love rivals, Yamada's crippling inability to read a situation, Kosuda's crippling inability to read a situation, Kosuda's crippling inability to accept when the pussy's being thrown at him, it always backfires, leaving Yamada to question why she did not get the sacred D. But in her her never-ending pursuit for the D, she messes around and breaks the hoe code. She catches the feelings for the young homie Kosada, which is cool because it means the main character and the relationship as a whole is always going through constant growth. What started as a poorly executed plan for a one-night stand grows into a rather solid relationship. Also, it strikes my fancy in capturing a lot of those real-ass moments, the ones where you and bae try to freak but it never really goes out how you plan. Don't make you just feel salty inside. I know it makes me feel salty inside. You can't force love, Holmes, because that is called rape. Yamada just predatoring on poor little Kosada's Disnick, which leads me to the second reason why I think this show is so cool. Ever notice in anime and just a lot of forms of media in general that young girls are just portrayed as the symbol of innocence and purity? That is, after all, the basis of an entire genre of anime, the magical girl genre, whereas the men are seen more as the predators, the aggressive ones. When in real life, women can be just as pervy as men can be. Women can be aggressive. It's just another stereotype pumped out by the media. Social commentary. That's why Yamada's in this bitch to set that ass straight by playing the unique character of this one girl who wants nothing more than to hunt down the D. And the other characters in the show don't shame her about this. They in fact cheer her on and help her out every step of the way, because they know, just as you the viewer know, that that's just Yamada's character. Hoes gonna be hoes, so we couldn't blame Ten. But as far as hoes go, not only is Yamada an inefficient one, she's also an insufferable one. Hell, strike that, even as a person she's insufferable sometimes. And this is by no means a gigantic mark against the show, it's just a personal gripe of mine. See, Yamada is what is known in the industry as a tsundere, and to all the newcomers on anime jargon out there, you can Google this shit. Look it. Bare bones, Wikipedia. Tsundere, pronounced tsundere, is a Japanese term for a character developmental process that describes a person who is initially cold and even hostile towards another person before gradually showing their warm side over time. The word is derived from the term sun, meaning to turn away in disgust, and dere, meaning to become lovey-dovey. Now, I see this archetype in anime all the time, and I still don't get why people have such boners for it. Yandere's where it's at, right? You know? But yeah, in almost every anime I've seen that involves a tsundere, the tsundere girl in question usually gets her kicks by treating the main character like shit before she finally falls in love with him, and even then still treats him like shit from time to time. Kinda like that thing your mother would always tell you when you used to get bullied as a kid. When somebody picks on you, that means they must like you. Now beat it, I'm watching Lifetime. And to me, that's generally some fuck behavior. That's that type of shit you're supposed to leave back in grade school. If I show interest in a female and she ends up treating me like shit, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna go. Bye. Funky hoe. In Yamada's case, she is a specific hybrid of tsundere. Not only is she a tsundere, but she's a himedere too, meaning she has a princess complex. Throughout the series, Yamada always carries herself as, head bitch in charge. Rightfully so, that's her character. But at the same token, she'll treat it as if certain acts of affection are beneath her in some way. Who this nigga Kosada think he is, trying to wave at me in the hallway, trying to give me a hug, trying to sit next to me in class? It ain't like I like the nigga. Oh wait, I do, head ass. She the type of hoe that catch feelings for a nigga and will not honestly tell him that she loves him until the two of their asses get married and have a second kid. But you know what? That's cool. This too shall pass. Because that's the way the writers built the hoe. As far as the comedy is concerned, it had me in stitches the entire time. The writers really know how to play up the laughs at the exact moment every time these two epically fail at trying to have sex, while still making it completely understandable and justifiable as to why it happens. You can't just attempt your first screw and not catch feelings. Shit's a chemical reaction in the brain. Emotions get in the way. In that sense, I feel like the writers were always trying to give it to you real. Animation's pretty normal, nothing real out of the ordinary. All in all, this was mostly an enjoyable show with a really quirky main character that broke the mold in some sense. It's what happens when the perverted guy main character archetype is instead replaced with a girl, and the innocent girl is instead replaced with a normal guy who would behave no differently than you or me in a lot of these situations. I say a lot, not all, because if I were in Kosada's position, Yamada wouldn't be walking straight. Feeling a good 4 out of 5 on this one. Lil Kid out.